The new Marauders Part 2. Is it easier? Welcome back, cool people, to Zealman's Wizarding World. Okay, New Marauders Part 2 will be starting very shortly. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Hit like and subscribe. If you want to know what makes Zealman's Wizarding World different from the others, well, we don't have an NDA with WB, which means we can do sneak peeks into upcoming features such as the 1920s new family coming. Check out the card for that one. Also, we do all the storyline in advance as well. So if you can't do the brilliant event, at least you can catch up on the storyline. We do it in advance, and then we also put it on Taskforce times.news, and that is where we do the archives. So we have all the story archives on there. We have a version of the registry for brilliant registry, challenge registry, the normal registry, which is actually corrected and has the right threat levels, and shard colors is the only one available as far as I'm aware. So that is always good. So if you want to know what shard color is for sure, Taskforce times.news is what you want. So if you want that particular foundable, and you want to know if it's a red or an orange or a yellow, then that is the place. So if any of that sounds great, hit subscribe, hit notification bell to be alerted when we go live. Also, Twitter is good because we can put stuff out very quickly. I say me, I'm the only one who does this. Put stuff out as and when it happens. That's pretty cool. So I hope you are doing well. This one starts March 29th until April the 2nd. So that's only 4 days instead of 7. So that's 40% less time. So mechanics for this one, tasks should be adjusted because it's shorter. I don't think they're easier. But yes, so we're going to compare to an Imperfect Love Part 2, which is the last Part 2 event. So normally Part 1s are similar and Part 2s are similar across different months. So we're going to compare the two and see if it is actually easier. Werewolf oddities will be boosted because of Lupin. So if you don't know the story too well, Remus Lupin turns into a werewolf at the full moon, and his two friends, which were James Potter and Sirius Black and Pt2. So two of them were his friends, one turned out not to be. They could turn into animagus. Now, with the werewolf, if it has animagus friends, which are other animals, so Prongs is James, Padfoot is the dog, which is Sirius. Now we have Wormtail, which was the rat, which is Pt2. Now, if they're in animal form, then they can keep the werewolf in check, and the werewolf isn't too fussed about animals, it only really wants to go for humans. So that is what they used to do. They used to go into the Shrieking Shack at full moon, hang around with each other, and be safe and not harm other students. So that's kind of how it works. So what can you do now? Not a lot. If you haven't done so, get your 2 trace detection tonics brewing. That is essential. You need those at the beginning. The very first task number 1 is brew 2 trace tonics. So if you haven't done that ahead of time, then you've wasted 5 hours maybe on that one. Also, you need 10 extingulos to waste. Use for tasks. So I suggest some basic extingulos there. Get those brewed up in advance. You need 10 of those. And also, Brufio's Brain Elixir is also handy, as always. And as usual, 1.5 kilometer Portkeys. As the norm for lockdown, at some point, they will go up to 3Ks one day, if we ever get out of this lockdown. In the UK, good news is we can actually meet in up to 6 people outside, which is nice. So anyone in the UK can meet up for fortress battles outside, which is cool. I do not have a community around here, so I'm a little bit stuck, so I'm going to rely on the night bus, which is apparently here to stay. So we're now moving on to our foundables. Now we're going to go through these and we're going to look at their descriptions in game as well. And I've got to look down here because my iPad is here and my camera's further away now. I can't read it at a distance. So the wild ones, you need 20 of these. We have a brilliant young Remus Lupin returning to the Shrieking Shack in Hogsmeade. Remus Lupin, or Moony as he was known to his fellow Marauders, became a werewolf at a very young age after being attacked by a notorious werewolf, Fenrir Greyback. Fenrir was known to attack children because he wanted to start them young. Left to the mercy of lycanthropy, he struggled with his transformations and isolated himself from the world. Fortunately, he found solace and acceptance in his friends, who became animagi to ensure he was safe and had company every full moon. Brilliant Padfoot, also returning to the Shrieking Shack. Sirius Black, or Padfoot as he was known by his fellow Marauders, undertook the lengthy and arduous task of becoming an animagus while still a Hogwarts student. This impressive feat allowed him to assume the form of a shaggy black dog, which he used to accompany and protect his friend Remus during his werewolf transformations. I didn't bother explaining this earlier, had I? The challenging one. So you get these from wizarding challenges. Fortresses using brilliant runestones. You need 3 of these. Ruins 5. You should be able to do it in 6-7 goes. Cloak of Invisibility, returning to James Potter. Invisibility cloaks can be produced in a number of ways. Traditionally, they're often woven from demigod's hair or created by enchanting a regular cloak with a powerful disillusionment charm or bedazzling hex. Wear and tear will cause an invisibility cloak to lose its effect, but legends speak of a true cloak of invisibility, whose powers have never faded despite its ancient age. Hashtag read the books. The walking ones, so these are Portkeys, or by completing the set of task number 4, you need 5 of these. Tips and tricks, actually. If you're doing part 1, and you can walk them and do set of task number 4, you have it shimmering, ready for part 2, where you can collect it for the additional runestones. Yes, which we'll go into shortly. Brilliant prongs, returning to the Shrieking Shack Hogsmeade. Despite a reputation for being a bit arrogant, those who were close to James Potter, or Prongs, as he was known to his fellow Marauders, spoke of the lengths he would go to for his friends. This is perhaps best evident in the fact that he, along with his fellow Marauders, learned to become a stag animagus in order to protect and accompany his werewolf friend Remus Lupin during his monthly transformations. The awarded one, you just get this one given to you for completing tasks, and I've forgotten what set it is. The Brilliant Marauders map, returning to James Potter. It's all about James. Right. The Marauders map was created by James Potter, Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, and Pt2, known collectively as the Marauders, while attending Hogwarts. Combining their knowledge of Hogwarts Castle and its grounds with a homunculus charm, they were able to track the location of everyone in the castle. With the aid of this ancient parchment, the Marauders were able to safely sneak out with Remus for his monthly werewolf transformations and make untold amounts of mischief. Sounds a little bit my school days. So now we're going to move on to the tasks. We're going to go through the list and we're going to compare those tasks to the previous Imperfect Love Part 2 event. That's the one. And see differences and see if they are easier. Spoiler alert, not particularly. Depends how you see it. So set task number 1 is collect ingredients of portmanteaus 3 times, brew tonic for trace detection twice, return 12 brilliant Padfoot valuables. So the collection ingredients task is 3. It was previously 2, but that's what's happened in part 1 as well. Though technically more difficult, it's not going to hold you up to complete the set because tapping 2 things on a map doesn't take very long, but collecting 12 Padfoot valuables certainly will do, and brewing 2 trace detection tonics will as well, but they're what I call passive tasks. You can brew tonics without actually having the game open, obviously. Brew 2 tonic for trace detections replaces the brew 3 potions. So for me, this will take just over 10 hours, where I could have brewed 3 healing potions in 4.5. So I would say this is much harder than it was before, although it is passive. Or you can actually do it in advance. So hopefully you see my tweet. Brewing in advance also clashes for those of us who are taking advantage of the reduced brewing times for extremely low potions. So I have actually put my trace tonic in a gold cauldron, so I can continue to brew basic extremely lows, so I can use those on the waste 10 extremely low potions task. In terms of rewards, you get 6 snowdrops instead of 2, 1 Brufier's Brain Elixir instead of 2 Powder Dragon Claw, so it's a win there. The Brufier's Brain Elixir will come in handy for those Wizarding XP tasks. Also, don't visit the registry, don't visit the Brilliant Registry, and also don't get 20 out of 20 of the wild valuables at this stage. It's kind of hard in set 1, to be honest. But if you get 20 out of 20, you will be forced into the registry and you'll be cashing in runestones too early. So if you do get 20 out of 20, force quit the game. That's the only way of stopping yourself from going there. Set task number 2. Use Master Notes 4 times. Defeat 7 Werewolf Oddities. Collect 5 brilliant new Marauders runestones. This one's quite different. Use Master Notes 4 times replaces cast Alohomora 15 times. Imperfect Love had boosted fandables from the main registry of last time. Obviously we've got the werewolf this time. Master Notes can take up to 6 hours. For me, it's 4.5. I got for some reduced brew time buffs. So I could have done the previous old task in about an hour, the 15 Alohomoras. I could have done an hour, whereas now it's going to take me 4.5. But it is passive. You can do it without actually playing the game. Defeat 7 Wealth Oddities replaces use 2 tonics for trace detection. As long as you can catch those 7 in 30 minutes, then it'll be faster, I guess. We'll see how good those spawn rates are. If you're moving around in a decent area, I'm pretty sure you can. If you're sat at home, it's got to be a few tonics to go to get that one. Collect 5 brilliant new Marauders runestones was 6, so it is technically faster, I guess. Yeah, we'll go into the math a little bit. 1 Exterminate Potion was 1 strong Exterminate Potion, so we've got a downgrade on that. You can now visit the Brilliant Registry now. Hopefully you have walked off any Brilliant Portkeys from the Part 1. So Part 1 also gave you 5 fragments for completing tasks. What I tend to do is both, leave it shimmering, and it gives me some extra XP for runestones. You can also cache in and place images on the new page, because there isn't actually place 5 images task. That is gone for this, so we don't have to wait until the end. So we can actually use that for the runestones. I wouldn't place the wild ones because you actually get more family XP by having them at 20 out of 20 and leaving them shimmering than you do placing them, because that was an old buff we used to have for having max fragments. For the Master Notes task, you can actually have a brew running in advance and then just place the Master Notes when you get to set task number 2. With a bit of luck, if you time it right, it'll complete instantly, and then you'll just do it again and you'll get 2 done in one go. So, you can make it a little bit quicker. You can also do it by using Gold Cauldron as well, but of course you would have brewed 2 tonic for trace detection tonics for set task number 1. So yeah, your scope is a little bit limited, but again, it is a passive task and you can just kind of do it every hour and a half or so. Set task number 3, cast 5 great spells in a row. Defeat 15 foes in challenges. Return 12 brilliant young Remus Lupin Farables. So 5 great spell casts replaces the use Master Notes 7 times. Given that the Master Notes task moved down to set 2, you could almost say it replaces 15 Homoras, because it goes down the chain. For me, it's easier, but a number of people who I know are subscribers to the channel will find this pretty darn difficult, if not impossible. And they are in a row, so you've got to get them one after the other, unfortunately. What I do is put on into this a demo of a masterful cast that I did. It gives you an idea of the accuracy and speed you require. So a lot of people say accuracy over speed or speed over accuracy, but of course it depends on what you find easiest, speed or accuracy, okay? So I would say it's both. You got to be a certain amount accurate and a certain amount fast. It just depends on what you think of is accurate in your head and what you think is fast. Return 12 brilliant young Remus Lupin replaces return of 15 brilliant portrait of Voldemort. So marginally easier, barely measurable. For event rewards, 16 route replaces 4 runespore eggs. So yeah, 3 witch sharpening potion replaces 2 strong exterminating potions. It's kind of weird because witch sharpening potion is really unuseful for adversaries or elite foes, which you need neither of during this event. So yeah, I'd rather have the exterminators. Not much to explain here about the task. They're pretty much just grind the foes in low chambers. Set task number 4. Earn 6,000 Wizarding XP from Wizarding Challenges. Cast 4 masterful spells. Collect 15 mysterious note pieces by returning brilliant new Marauder valuables. So, earn 6,000 Wizarding XP is down from 7,000, so a little bit easier there. Cast 4 masterful spells replaces place 5 images. So yes, I'm glad the 5 images were taken away, as it helps with the runestone task. But sorry again to those who have dexterity issues. Well, it's not much it's still out of my control. I have no say on the game whatsoever. At least the masterful casts don't need to be in a row, so you can do those as and when. Again, see the demo at the end of the video to see what they look like. They're on the most common ones, so look out for that EWO and stuff like that. They're the easier ones. 5 brilliant pronged fragments as a reward helps if you can't walk those Portkeys. If you can do both, then that's nice. If it's part 1, but no, it's part 2, a bit of a waste. Typically, the 5 fragments reward is obviously a COVID restriction thing. Normally given away in the bonus task. So I think they moved it down to set task number 4, just so, if you can't do the bonus task, it's not the end of the world. If you can't do the bonus task and you can't walk, it's not the end of the world. And a small tip is just you collect the note fragments simply by grinding the wild valuables. I've seen some people ask questions about how do I get those for newer players? So that's how you do it. You just go for the 2 brilliant vandals on the map, and you should get your note fragments from them. For visiting XP, you can use the Brain Elixir, always helpful, doubles it up, so it's always nice. Do some comfortably high chambers with the BBE on, it wouldn't take you too long. So on to the bonus. Defeat 15 formidable foes in wizarding challenges. Return 40 brilliant new Marauders valuables, and 10,000 wizarding XP from any source or method. Use any 10 exterminator potions and defeat 10 werewolf oddities. So return 40 brilliant new Marauders is down from 45, so a small improvement there. Not 7 to 4 days improvement. We'll go into the math in a little bit on what these values should actually be. And 10,000 wizarding XP is down from 12,500. Use any 10 exterminator potions, replaces defeat highest chamber unlocked 1 time. I'm very conflicted on this one. On one hand, I don't like the highest unlocked chamber thing because it's a pain to organise. And on the other hand, I don't like wasting exterminator potions. So, you know. However, it is easier to do, I guess. Defeat 10 werewolf oddities, replaces cast Alohomora 25 times. The cast one was way, way, way easier because you could do it on a slow cast. So you could cast really slow and wait until it says too slow, and then just do it again for infinity, or 25 times for the task, and it was done. So you could just find one foundable and just do it all in a row. It was absolutely awesome. I think you could also miscast as well. So just tap on the screen to do it, which is actually quite funny. So defeat 10 werewolf oddities is a heck of a lot faster than just tapping on the screen. So yeah, that's a lot harder. If you did it properly, then the new task is easier. And in regards to the TEDx belows, okay, yes, hopefully you took advantage of the reduced brew time during the adversary event, because you're about to lose all those stuff, all those speech stimulation you gained from it, because you have to use it now. If you want to go through the event dialogue, it will be in a separate video. We keep it separate because some people don't like spoilers, or they want to come back to the dialogue later and see my opinion on it, or my dry take on some of it with a bit of a giggle at it. So in terms of tips, Warner Brothers and Niantic need to learn how to do maths properly. So we've gone from 7 to 4 days. So 4 divided by 7 is 0.57. So that is our reduction. So we only have 60% of the time we had before. If you were to carry this math over into the numbers, our 6,000 wizarding XP from challenges task should actually be 3,990, or 4,000 if you round it up. The 10,000 wizarding XP from any source really should be 7,125, or 7,000 if you want to wind it down. So, yeah, need much lower numbers for it to be equal, my son. Right, collect 6 runestones is a weird one because you can place some of the images earlier because you don't need to do the place 5 images task. So we'll call that one even. So is the event easier if we factor in the time differences? It's not one answer fits all. So if you have struggles with Great and Masterful Cast, then no, it's much harder. In terms of active tasks, so those that require you to actively play the game, they're probably 15 to 20% easier than the previous event, but our time is reduced by 40%, so it's way off the mark. Passive tasks such as master notes and brewing, these are kind of hard to measure. So brew 2 trace notes takes a while if you haven't got it ready completely before the event starts. The master notes task is reduced by 40%. Probably cancels out that 4 hours brewing. So I would say it's the same. So passive tasks have not been reduced. Active tasks reduced 15 to 20%, but that's nowhere near the 40%. And if you have trouble with Masterful Cast, then it's way, way, way harder. But of course, that is all in theory. So let me know in the comments below how it goes for you. Also hit me up on Twitter as well. Also Taskforce times.news. There is a chat function on there. So if you want to message me at any time that I'm awake during the UK time zone, hit me up on there if you have any questions. I can see if I get answers. If I don't know the answers, I can ask other WooTubers. If they don't know, then I can also ask Lola as well from WB. So good luck, magical people, with that one. Hopefully you can do it in time. Hopefully you can at least do the first 4 sets of tasks to get your registry completed anyway. That's kind of the thing that's going to last forever if you don't get it done in time. So don't forget to follow me on Twitter at the Zealman. Also Instagram for any AR picture stuff. Hopefully I might get to blog this one or vlog this one. Get the camera out. First ever, weirdly, we're supposed to up to like 20, 22 degrees and sunny for the next couple of days, which is really weird because it's supposed to be like 10 to 12. So I'm going to get my little GoPro going. That reminds me, if you want, if you'd like to help me buy a new GoPro, if you could give on the Ko-fi page, that would be helpful. I don't film that much in the dark anymore, but I'd like to have it'd be nice to have a nice good GoPro that I can actually go out and do vlogs with, because I have a little one and stuff like that. I don't actually have the budget to go and buy one. Yes, feel free to hit me up on Ko-fi.com if you want to help me fund a new GoPro. Any corrections we'll put in the pinned comment below. Sometimes things change or don't work as expected. So yes, keep an eye out for that one. Also check out taskforcetimes.news. We'll have a quick reference guide, which is basically like what Orange Wizard does, but in a mobile-friendly format, and the link is always the same. So you don't have to go searching through Twitter feeds and that sort of stuff to find images, and you have to scroll around the images because it's all in a nice format for mobile. So yes, that's on taskforcetimes.news. So until next time, brush up on your spells, get your wands ready, wizards unite.